Hello everyone. Welcome to this live stream. I hope I'm live and you can just send in a live chat if you are able to hear me, if I'm audible. Just let me know, and I'll also share the link with our friends so that they can also join us on live. So I will be needing a moment. Hi everyone. We are just starting in a moment. Sharing the link with our friends so that they can also join us. Okay, so we are live. Hello everyone, welcome, and it gives me honor, and I'm really I feel myself lucky that I'm doing this stream this evening on a very special theme and for a very special reason. I'm here with you to announce the jury of the Karwaan Book Prize 2021. We started this journey of Karwaan Book of the Year last year, 2020, when we listed our favorite books of 2020. And this year, we are honored to host 17 scholars and historians from all across the world who are going to judge the books, who are going to grade the books and list the best books of the year. And on the importance of the Karwan Book Prize, Professor Romila Thapar says that the method of a historian, that the writing of a historian has a method which historians observe, and their work is judged by its application. And historians assessing new publications should contribute to strengthening this process. And with that belief, we started this initiative. And we are fortunate to have joined by 17 historians for this particular season, and the jury will continue hopefully for the next many more seasons to come. So without going without delaying this process, without um, much ado, I would share my screen now to show you, to announce the jury, because this year we have got a lot of books that were worthy reading and that made us think more critically about our past. The books that were published covered various themes, including the voices of the marginalized communities, the increasing majoritarianism, uh, women's history. We talked about the Dalit history. We saw books on oral history. We saw books on popular art, popular cultures, including cinema. We saw books on which were biographies, and so much more. So this is our attempt to recognize the recent scholarships on history, non-fiction, uh, and both popular and academic, and in this way to bridge the gap between scholarship and the public. Uh, so let me share the screen with all of you. So this year, the chair of the shortlist jury, so the Karwan Book of the Year 2021 have two juries, shortlist and the long list. So the shortlist jury is being headed by Professor Romila Thapar, who is an Indian historian and a leading scholar of ancient India. She is currently the Professor Emerita in History at Jawaharlal Nehru University, but has served as a visiting professor at a number of academic institutions around the world, including London University, Cornell University, the University of Pennsylvania, and the College de France in Paris. During her career, Professor Thapar has produced over 15 volumes, now about 20. The Penguin History of Early India, from origins to AD 1300, Ashok and the Decline of the Mauryas, and the Ancient Indian Social History, and some interpretations among her popular works. In the shortlist jury, we also have Professor Harbans Mukhia, who started his career in 1960 from Kirodimal College at Delhi University before joining Jawaharlal Nehru University in 1971. He also worked at Rajdhani College and Hindu College at Delhi University. He served at Jawaharlal Nehru University from 1971 until his retirement as a rector and a professor of medieval history in 2004. And his essay, Was There Feudalism in Indian History, led to an international debate in the Journal of Peace and Studies between 1985 to 1993 that we students of history call the feudalism debate. Uh, with Professor Mukhya, we also have Professor Keswan Veluthat in the jury. Professor Keswan Veluthat was the chairman of the Department of History at the University of Mangalore. He took voluntary retirement in 2008 and was invited as professor of ancient Indian history at the University of Delhi. Among his publications are the Buffalo Century, Notes of Descent, the Early Medieval in South India, the Political Structure of Early Medieval South India, and the Brahmin Settlements in Kerala. He has been a sectional president and a joint secretary of the Indian History Congress. He is currently the director of Institute for Studies in the Coastal Heritage of Kerala, located in Kodungalur. In the shortage jury, we are fortunate to have Ambassador retired Shiv Shankar Menon. He is one of the most distinguished diplomats in the world and scholar of international affairs and politics. Shiv Shankar Menon is a former Foreign Secretary of India and was National Security Advisor to Prime Minister Manmohan Singh. He is the author of Choices Inside the Making of Indian Foreign Policy that came out in 2016, and India and the Asian Geopolitics that came out recently. Professor Akil Bilgrami is an Indian philosopher of language and mind, and he has been in the Department of Philosophy at Columbia University since 1985. And after spending 2 years as an assistant professor at the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor, Akil Bilgrami got a first degree in English literature from Bombay University, but defected to philosophy because, as he says, he found the former too hard. He went to Oxford University as a Rhodes Scholar and there got another bachelor's degree in philosophy, politics, and economics. He's also in the jury of Infosys Prize for Humanities. We are also very fortunate to have Professor Ranveer Chakravarti. Professor Ranveer Chakravarti has an enduring interest in and engagements with the pre-modern maritime history of Indian Ocean, and he also specializes in the socio-economic and political history of pre-modern South Asia. Besides regularly contributing to peer-reviewed journals and edited scholarly volumes in India and abroad, Professor Chakravarti has authored and co-authored and also edited numerous books on the theme, and he was elected sectional president of Ancient India at Indian History Congress in 2011. And one of his books that we as history students studied in Delhi University included Exploring Early India. We also have Professor Uma Chakravarti with us. Professor Uma Chakravarti is a feminist historian who has taught at Miranda House College for Women at Delhi University, and she writes on Buddhism, early Indian history, the 19th century, and on contemporary issues. Among her many publications are Social Dimensions of Early Buddhism that came out in 1987, Rewriting History, the Life and Times of Pandita Ramabai that came out by Zuban in 1998, Gendering Caste through a Feminist Lens in 2002, and many edited volumes. And she's closely involved with the women's movement as well as the movement for democratic rights in India, and has been part of many fact finding teams to investigate human rights violation, communal violence, and state repression. Professor Faisal Devji, our next member of the shortlist jury, is a professor of Indian history and a fellow of at St. Anthony's College at the University of Oxford. Dr. Devji has held faculty positions at the New School in New York, Yale University, and the University of Chicago, from where he also received his PhD in intellectual history. Professor Devji was seen junior fellow at the Society of Fellows at Harvard University and head of graduate studies at the Institute of Smiley Studies in London, from where he directed postgraduate courses in the Near East and Central Asia. We now move to the long list jury. The chair of the long list jury this year is Professor Amar Faruqi. Professor Amar Faruqi is a professor of history at the University of Delhi. He taught history for many years at Hansraj College and has been a fellow of Nehru Memorial Museum and Library in New Delhi. His publications include Early Social Formations, Smuggling as Subversion, Colonialism, Indian Merchants, and the Politics of Opium, 1719 to 1843, Opium City, the Making of Early Victorian Bombay, Sindhyas and the Raj, Princely Gwalior, and Zafar and the Raj, Anglo-Mughal Delhi. Following him, we have Professor Najaf Haider. Professor Najaf Haider did his DPhil from Oxford in 1997 and joined Delhi University as a lecturer of medieval Asian history. And he's currently a professor of medieval history at Center for Historical Studies, School of Social Sciences at JNU, New Delhi. His research interests include the history of money, banking, credit, and international exchange. In also history of book production and circulation, history of sectarial classes, and history of Delhi. We are also fortunate to have joined by Professor Shichandra Ghosh. Professor Ghosh is a professor at Department of History at University of Hyderabad. She specializes in early Indian history with a focus on epigraphy and numismatics, and she broadly takes interest in political cultural history of Northwest India, early India's linkages with early Southeast Asia, Indian Ocean Buddhist and trade network, and history of the everyday life. Before joining Hyderabad University, she was professor in the Department of Ancient Indian History and Culture at University of Calcutta, and she is also the area editor of the Encyclopedia of Ancient History, Asia and Africa, which is published by Willie Blackwell. In the long list, we have Dr. Shogoto Ray. Dr. Shogoto Ray is an associate professor of South and Southeast Asian art and architecture in the history of art department and the Department of Studies at the University of California, Berkeley. He was trained in both history and art history, and his research and writing focus on climate change and the visual arts from the 1500s onward. He is currently the interim director of the Institute for South Asia Studies at University of California, Berkeley. We have Dr. Rohit Day in the jury, and he is a lawyer and historian of modern South Asia who focuses on the legal history of the Indian subcontinent and the common law world. As a legal historian, he moves beyond asking what the law was to what actors thought law was and how this knowledge shaped their quotidian tactics, thoughts, and actions. And in recent years, he has enabled his research to move beyond the political borders to South Asia to uncover transnational legal geographies of commerce, migration, and rights across Africa, Southeast Asia, and the Caribbean. And he's currently an associate professor at the Department of History at Yale University. He's a historian affiliated with the Leiden University in the Netherlands and Ashoka University in India. And for several years now, he has been exploring the stories and histories of the Indian Ocean and Islamic worlds. And his research interests also include the global history of law, Afro Asian connections, and the intellectual history of Islam. Currently, he studies the matriarchal Muslim communities of the Indian Ocean littoral from East Africa to Southeast Asia. We are also will be joined by we will be joined by Professor Leela Gandhi in the long list jury. Professor Leela Gandhi is a noted scholar and academician in the field of post-colonial theory. He is currently the John Hawkes Professor of Humanities and English and director of the Pembroke Center for Teaching and Research on Women at Brown University. And she previously taught at the University of Chicago, La Trobe University, and the University of Delhi. She is a founding co-editor of the academic journal Postcolonial Studies, and she serves on the editorial board of the electronic journal Postcolonial Text. She is a senior fellow of the School of Criticism and Theory at Cornell University. We are fortunate to be joined by Professor Dr. Meera Vishwanathan. Meera Vishwanathan teaches at the Department of History at Shiv Nadar University. Dr. Vishwanathan's dissertation research focused on the inscriptions of early historic India and led her to examine issues on written culture, the interplay of languages and ethnic groups, and the context of communication involved in these early records. She's also interested in the social history of ancient India with a focus on the theme of caste and gender. Last but not the least, uh, Dr. Manu V. Devan. Dr. Devadevan is an associate professor of history at IIT Mandi. In 2019, he was awarded the Infosys Prize for Humanities for his highly original and wide ranging work on pre modern South India. And his book, A Prehistory of Hinduism, offers a powerful and refreshing new approach to the study of cultural history of India based on his profound knowledge of sources in multiple languages. His other books include The Early Medieval Origins of India, God is Dead, There is No God, Vachanas of Allama Prabhu, and many more. So this was, as of now, the jury is the jury of the Karwaan Book Prize, of, as we say, Karwaan Book of the Year 2021. So the prize will be awarded in four categories: modern, medieval, ancient, and contemporary history. And this prize will entail a citation composed and signed by the shortlist jury. And the long listed books will get the citation, and which will be composed and signed by the long list jury members. And we are really hoping that this attempt of ours will help and will cater in promotion of scholarship based on history, and it will also encourage readers to read more, to engage with the past more critically. And we look forward to many more books and um, the valuable contribution of our jury members, and we will be sharing updates on our social media channels about the jury, about the work and the list. We are hoping that the list of Karwan Book Prize will come out by July 22. We will be releasing the long list somewhere in May, and the short list by the end of June. So we hope uh, that we'll get to read some great works on history. And we are really thankful to our jury members, all the 17 scholars that we have, for agreeing and for being a part of this initiative. And I hope we'll surely try to bring some change and awareness in historical studies and scholarships, and that we can recognize and promote great scholarship. Thank you so much, everyone. And let me see if we have any comments. And no, but thank you so much, and we'll meet again. So this was the final jury. We have Professor Romila Thapar, Professor Harbans Mukhia, Professor Veer Chakravarti, Professor Uma Chakravarti, Professor Amar Faruqi, Akil Bilgrami, Keswan Veluthat, Shiva Shankar Menon, Faisal Devji in the short list. And for the long list, we have Professor Amar Faruqi, Professor Najaf Haider, Professor Suchandra Ghosh, Dr. Rohit Day, Dr. Shogoto Ray, Dr. Meera Vishwanathan, Dr. Mahmood Kuria, Leela Gandhi, and Manu V. Devadevan. Thank you so much, everyone. We'll meet again, and a very happy new year to all of you.